Mrs. Roberson, would you like to come back?
I get excited every time I hear that. We still newlyweds, so it is very exciting to be able to do this thing that I love with my partner, right? But if I were to even use that story to tell you a valuable lesson, I was single, like most folks, for a long time, looking for my person, right? I was very specific about what it was I wanted. Thus, we must be specific to create. I wanted husband, business partner, best friend to be the same person. And though there were frogs that I kissed that were some of those things or potentially part of those things, I started writing love letters to my husband in 2019 when I was single, right? So I was single, and I conjured up the energy of what would it be like when I had my person. Not like the movie version of, oh, you know, that was good and that's what the love story looked like, right? Not my best friend's husband, like, you know, that's nice. But not that person. What would it be like when I had my person? And so I used all the tools that I teach my clients, and I went into a place, kind of like that lemon, right? And I created this feeling. And this feeling is no different for me for what I was creating there. I had created it in business. I've been in business. I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years. Business had come easy to me. I was able to learn from one, fail at that. I call them fail forwards. I failed forward from that. That taught me something. Use that information to move into a new space. Use more technology that would come to reinvent and reinvent and reinvent. But my sticking thing was this relationship stuff. I couldn't nail it. I hadn't met them, quite simply, right? And so when I went into this place and I wrote these love letters for 30 days, 30 days of love letters of gratitude, because if I had my person, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be writing love letters. I'd be telling him how much I loved him and how grateful I was for him. So when we went on our first date, there's actual video proof that I fell in love on this first date. And it wasn't even really a date, it was just a first outing. But he recorded these little snippets. And as I saw myself look at him, I realized I'd never seen her before. It was like I had opened the door, walked through, and become someone else instantly. My friends that have known me for a long time, they see this video and they say, oh yeah, no, that was something different. So that day I went home and I was like, man, I feel like I felt this energy before. But I never met him before. So it can't be that I was with him because I don't know him. And then I remembered that book and those love letters. And so I went back into that. It's been on the bookshelf since 2019. This is 2021. So I go on the bookshelf, I get the thing off, and I start reading these letters. And I feel like this is that same energy. I started writing in that book again that day. And I kept writing him love letters and writing him love letters. And I wrote these love letters, and I was planning to give him this book at our wedding. 1 year later, to the day that we met the first time, we got married, and I gave him that book, and I read my vows, not from what I had written after I met him, but I read him the vows from what I had written before I met him. And I talked about how he offered balance and the amazing chemistry and all the things that we are today. And so I want you to learn the ways that I learned. This was the most, the challenging ones are the ones that push you. The challenging ones are the ones that are not in the comfort zone, that don't come easy. Building business, failing at that, moving on, filing bankruptcy, I had done that. But digging into who I needed to become was the journey and the work over time to manifest and attract the partner to be able to do these things. And so I saw this long before I knew him. I saw this long before I knew that it was as possible and as easy as it is. But understanding how you get there is going through these processes. So wherever you are and whatever you have been through has created you, that pressure that makes the diamond. Those things have been creating you to be who you need to be now to become who you want to be next. And I just want you to be fearless and courageous and powerful to move into that space. And if on some days you need to use that fear to dig down deep, to push you and propel you to be that, do that. But I want you to have the power and the strength to know, you know what, even Coach Mo been through some things, and those things made her better. Mel been through some things, and those things made him better. And no different than the business that we've now been able to create. The Roberson Resource Group wasn't even a possibility before we were both Robersons, right? And so when he says Mrs. Roberson every time, or anybody, I have a whole body roll because I'm excited and grateful, not just because I'm married, but because I know I created this in many 16 seconds of thought, of positive thought, of belief, even when it wasn't actually happening.